So here we are looking at a string. So if you actually work with C++ or C, you know that strings are basically represented as characters, and more specifically as an array of characters in um, basically in the memory. So how it works that each character is gonna be a byte. So so let's say G. So that's gonna be a byte, and then Y gonna be a byte, S gonna be a byte, and so forth. So for this string to be represented, we have to store the size, right? So how do you, the way that basically the assembler knows that how long is this character is by putting an extra byte, and that's gonna be a, we call it a null character or end of a string character. So that we represented by this symbol, and that also basically takes a byte. So here you see that we have from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the 4 character that we have, sorry, 5 character that we have. So 0 to 4, that's 5. And then we have this extra one that is basically end of the string. So, so that's our str. And here is our pointer. So this pointer is a type of character. So it's pointing to a character at a time. So how does that work? Let's walk through the code, and I think we can go one by one. So here at the beginning, so that's the definition. It's executed, and then here we are getting the address of of the first character. So this is an array, right? So it's named str, but it's actually a character array, and we are getting the address of the first character, and we are putting that into the pointer that we have. So this is the pointer. So it's gonna contain this address of this first one. And if we dereference that, we're gonna get the character G. So output, if we are outputting, so here we didn't get G because we are outputting the pointer itself. We are not dereferencing it. So we got that memory address. And then here we are incrementing that. So this is a number, and you see that it's gonna get here 1. And some side note on these. So for example, if you had an integer and the size was 4, so the size of character is 1. If you had an integer and the size was 4, when you were doing this plus plus on the pointer, this is something that C++ does for you and actually incremented by 4. So it's always incrementing by the size. But here we are looking at the character. So no worry about that because the size is 1, and when we are doing increment, it's gonna be adding 1 to that. So here we added 1, and now we are at this location. If we dereference that, we're gonna get Y. And if we do a cout with a dereferencing, we're gonna get the character itself. So we're gonna repeat that. We add 1 more. So now it's pointing to the S. The address is incremented. If we do a cout, we're gonna get that address because there is no dereferencing symbol here. So this is the side note that I was talking about. So when we are adding the value to the pointer, we are basically adding a constant. So if we are adding k, for example, that means we are k character after the original character that that pointer was referring to. In the int array or int pointer, because the size is not 1, basically you have to multiply the offset by the size. So we're gonna see the examples of that. But basically, as of now, if you are pointing to here and you're adding, let's say 3, so you're gonna literally go 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna get 3 character after where you were pointing. So we have another example here with, again, with the same string that we had. So here is our character, this is our pointer, this is our memory, basically table, how it's laid out. And here, again, we're gonna go one by one. So we are getting that address of the first element and storing it in our pointer. So that's the first element, and it's referring to the G. And here actually this should be the other way around. If we add 3 to that, so it's 3, so it's gonna be basically 003, so we're gonna be pointing to this location. So we're gonna get that I, and then if we see out the with the dereference, we're gonna get this I. And we could also do things on fly. So if we do -1 and then dereference, we're gonna get basically S, which is one before that. And one side note here, I'm gonna update on the slide. This is should be the other way around.